Hello, everybody. We're going to get started for our webinar today. Thomas, if you could turn your screen on, I just want to, if everybody bear with me 1 second here, we're working with some of our friends in Germany and we need to make sure everything's, there we go. Okay. Bear with me 1 second, guys, and get something set up here. There we go. Okay, again, my name's Curtis Hicks with UNITA. I want to thank everyone for attending our webinar today. Today is our last webinar in a series of 6 that we've done over the last several months. We want to thank everyone who's participated in them. We really appreciate any feedback you can give us. Any sessions that you missed that you would want to see, you can go to sandpaper.com/past-webinars, and all of our webinars are recorded there. This one will be as well. Today's webinar is especially special to us at UNITA because we have our partners in Germany, the Ekasky subsidiary in Germany today. They're actually going to do this webinar, and our friend over there, Max Koenig, is going to actually show you how to finish solid surface. What Max is going to do is cover, you guys bear with me, I can get this to move. He's going to go over the basics of solid surface sanding demos that he's going to do. Will show you the different glosses you can achieve, scratch removal techniques, showing how to get into some curved surfaces, I think, and how to achieve the perfect surface while saving on cost. So one thing I would like to say before we get started is we will be taking questions as the webinar is going on. Please type those in, and at the end of the demonstrations that Max is going to do, he will we'll answer the questions after that. So thanks a lot. Bear with me 1 second, Max. Let me stop the share here and take it over, buddy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and Thomas being here.
Hey, welcome to everybody. Good to join that webinar. I'm really excited. So yeah, I hope everybody can see me. Let's try to put the camera on it.
Good, Max, and hopefully everybody else can as well. You take up my whole screen, so that's perfect.
Yeah, you can see my desk now where I'm working at, Curtis.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So today we are talking about solid surface. Yeah. Thomas, du musst den, das passt nicht mit der Kamera, überhaupt nicht. Yeah.
There we go.
It's always difficult to speak just without the head on the shoulders. So today it's about solid surface. It's a homogeneous material, so it's a little bit more easy than sand materials like wood. First of all, I want to speak about what the material is used for. It's for sinks, for example, or bathrooms, bath furnitures. Yeah. So the main characteristic of that material is it is used for flat surfaces and round surfaces like that sink. Yeah, I hope you can see it. It's round everywhere. Yeah, so the goal for us as abrasive producers is always to find a way of sanding flat surfaces, like I have that sample pieces here, and to find a way to sand round surfaces like a sink or other bathroom furnitures. Yeah. First of all, what we use today is that Orbital Sender. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit more close to make clear what it's all about. I'm standing the light here now. That's better.
It's beautiful.
So we have here the Orbital Sender 150 millimeters. It has 2.5 millimeter orbit. Orbit means the movement that the plate is doing in that direction. The more orbit you have, the more aggressive the machine will sand. So for solid surface, 2.5 millimeter orbit will be perfect. Yeah. Second thing that I want to show you for that, I made a small dot. I hope you can see it here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How is that machine working? If you now work with a sheet sanding machine, everything is about a small orbit where the plate is turning. The Orbital Sender has the benefit that it's not only working in orbit of 2.5 millimeters here, it's also a defined rotation movement of the plate. Yeah.
And if I could just say real quick, Max, because most people in the States are going to think in inches on orbits, this would be a 3/32 orbit.
Yeah, sorry.
That's going to give us your tightest orbit.
I'm not familiar with the inch. So be kind with me. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. I just wanted to let them know you're talking about 3/32.
Out of Germany. So the first thing that I want to show you, if you take a look and if you focus that dot, and I will press my hand on the Velcro, it will not rotate, but it will have a small orbital movement. Just take a look. Yeah. So what is going on the plate? To see that and to make that clear, we just take a paper. I cut off with all my energy. I cut off a paper disc, and I will make a small black dot somewhere on the disc. So now the goal should be to take a look at that small dot. Can you see that? It's not easy to see. I make a bigger dot now. It's not working as good as it should be. What I wanted to show is that that black dot is not only working in a 2.5 millimeter orbit, it's also going that round. Yeah, it's also rotational movement. Yeah. So now coming back on the goals that we have on the solid surface, if you get that as a raw material, it will have some sanding scratches. If you glue that, if you want to implement a sink into a working plate, you need to send glue, for example, or you need to equalize the surface. So we created, and we're in Germany, we do that in a 2 or 3 step action, and we're using film discs. Yeah. Why do we use film disc? Why do we not using paper disc? Because the film material is the first benefit. It is really equal. Yeah. There is no flatter surface, no flatter backing than the film backing. Yeah. The second point is it's very durable. You're not even me, and I'm not the smallest one. Yeah. And I had good lunch. I'm not able to really tear that. Yeah, it's really tough. Yeah, and the third point is if you're working with the grid sizes that we will use today, in grid size 240 to 80. Yeah, it's flexible enough to even work in round surfaces inside of the sink. Yeah. Okay. First of all, we need samples. For that usage, I took a dark gray. I hope you can see that. A dark gray. We also had white samples of solid surface, but the problem with white samples is you will not see anything. Yeah. So I made the decision to use that gray color to hopefully get it shown 100% directly to all of the members of the webinar. Yeah,
it's a very good picture of it there. Perfect.
So now what I will do, is I will create a scratch. Yeah, I'll take a scissor from one of my colleagues. She will be very happy that I take it because tomorrow it's damaged or whatever. Yeah. So first of all, maybe you hear that already. You see that?
Yes, sir.
You see that scratch? To make that clear, even in the next steps, I will take a graphite pen and I try to highlight it all over the surface. You can also use that colored powder. Yeah, if you have a dark surface, you need a light powder. If you have a dark surface, you need the light powder, and if you have a light surface, you need the dark powder. Is it clear? Can you see the scratch?
See it great. Yes, yes, Max.
Okay. Next step, what we want to do is I will use that tape for taping up that surface, that sample in 50 millimeters to see the difference at the end, yeah, of that test. What was the surface at the beginning and what is it at the end? Okay. Okay, now we have scratches. What I also wanted to say, if the damage of that solid surface is too much, yeah, if you have really broken out parts, it makes not that much sense to sand it, because you will always create a hole. Yeah, it works. Yeah, of course you can remove the scratch, but if the scratch is too deep, you are in the need to remove too much. Okay. So we are always talking about scratches that you can feel with your fingernail, yeah, but not too deep damages. Good. First step is, in our case, film backing at the grid size of 180. See here?
Yes.
Yeah, 180. The second step of the same film material will be 240. These are the only two film discs that we use for remove the scratch and remove material. So we take our Orbital Sender, and what is important now to remember every time that you use that is, please do not start the machine before you put it on the surface. Why? Because if you start it in the air, let's say like this, you will create a rotating movement of the plate. And that rotating movement will create rotational marks on your surface. To make that clear and to show you what I mean, I will use a more rough disc 120 grit and just show you. Okay, I have here my blade, and what I do now is I turn it on. Yeah, I do it in the wrong way. I turn it on now. You will see a rotational movement, and then I will put it on the blade, and then we'll take a look at the scratches. Okay. So I really, really hope that you can see what I created now.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good picture of it. I see a lot of swirl marks.
So it is not about that one.
Yep.
It's
very clear.
The marks that I created are a rotational direction. Yeah?
Yep.
So of course it's not impossible to even remove that heavy marks, but the question is, can we do it better to save time and to create a better surface? And we can do it better when we just start the machine when it's even on the surface, because then we will have an orbital movement and not rotational movement. So first of all is using the grid 180. It's always important to use disc with holes, because you will create dust. Now I start to send the sample. Now the question is, how long do I really need to send? It's always difficult to answer. Yeah? The only thing that I can tell you, and the only thing that I tell my customers, is spend enough time for the whole surface. So now these samples are really small. If we are talking about 1 square meter, 2 square meters, what is not unusual for big bathroom furnitures, you need your time. I can promise you will not be finished after 2 minutes. So it's always a little bit better to spend a little bit more time, because as I said in the beginning, the material is homogeneous. So you will not have damages because you remove too much. Yeah. Okay, first thing is, now we send with grid 180. So thanks for being patient. I invested now more around about 2 to 3 minutes into that surface. Yeah, you now see it's really, really matte. Important to remember, you always need to clean after every step of grain size. So I have that yeah, scar or whatever, tissue.
Cloth, yes.
Scar. How do you call that one?
Cloth.
Microfiber.
Microfiber, yes.
Microfiber is super special white. So.
Nice.
You always need to say me, Curtis, if the picture is not too good to.
It's pretty good. I can see a little bit of gloss in it. You know, a little bit of sheen.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I think it's, you know, a lot of it's going to depend on everybody's computer, really.
Yeah. Okay. But what we need to make clear is now we only use the first step, only Crit 180. What we can now try to make clear is we can use the Graphite Pen again.
Do you use that to give you something so you can see you're removing it while you sand?
Yeah, I use that for trying to search any scratches that has been left after sanding.
Got it.
Because the problem is many times, and yeah, even at customers who are doing that work 8 hours a day, yeah, they cannot make sure that there will be the situation that after polishing, if you want to create a high gloss and you take a closer look into the surface, you see, oh, damn, there is still some scratches left. And then you're in the need, yeah, to get one step back, start with sanding again, yeah, and to hopefully do not have that situation too many times. You try to highlight the scratches as often as you can after cleaning the surface. Okay, in that case, we do not see any scratches left after sanding with Grit 180. So I will just send away the graphite powder that I tried to that I used for highlighting, and after that I tape again 50 millimeters to make clear how the surface, how the glossiness is after using the Grit 180. Okay. Good. So now we did the first step. Second step, as I said, is the next grid size. After Grit 180, we're using a film disc in Grit 240. What you can see now is we are jumping over one grid size. Normally, after Grit 180, we should use Grit 220. But in that case, to be as fast as possible, we are jumping one grid size. Yeah? So we're now using Grit 240 to make sure that all the scratches that has been created from the Grit 180 could be removed. Important, I'm sure you all know that, is don't jump over two grid sizes. So after Grit 180, it cannot be Grit 280. Yeah, it's too much. So now I will send the same sample with Grit 240, and also important is spend the same time in the finer grids that you spend in the coarser grids. I know it's difficult. I made that mistake many times. You send with Grit 180, the whole surface is matte, and then you only spend 50% of the time with the finer grids. But then you can be sure you will find scratches at the end or after polishing. It will not work. So try to spend the same time in each grid size.
While Max is sanding, I'll mention a couple of things to everybody here in the States. They're utilizing film, and in a little while he's going to utilize another product that's a foam type product it's called Ekasky. So just to let everybody know, we do supply all of these types of products. Some of you are already familiar with our film products, and we definitely have everything here that you would need to match this process, including the sanders, vacuum sanders, and what have you. And the one that Max is using is, again, a 3/32 orbit. That's always going to give you the best finish. On wood, a lot of times you'll use 3/16 because it's giving you a more cut. But definitely for solid surface, you want a finishing sander, and that's 3/32 Orbit. And Max is also using a 6-inch disc rather than in wood, it's typically 5. 6-inch is going to cover more surface. And most of the time, a lot of the time, solid surface is flat.
Good. So again, we stop working with the finer grit. Don't forget to clean the surface. And now we'll remove the tape. So maybe you can now see what we created. This was the raw surface. We did not send anything here on that darker stripe. This stripe is grit 180. And this whole surface is now sanded with grit 240.
If you could tilt it up a little bit more, the back going to the...
Just a little bit, yeah. Just a little bit. There's not a huge difference between these two glossy levels, I would say, yeah. But this is not our goal. I just want to show you that there is a small difference between two grit sizes, okay? Now I will glue up again with tape, and I will do the last step. The last step, if we want to create a matten surface. So now we remove the scratch. We remove the scratches from the grit size 180. And now we're just taking care about the gloss level. And to do that, we are not using film backing anymore. We are using so-called non-woven, I think. You call that non-woven, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
It's with Velcro on the back to have 100% sticking on the Orbital Sender.
Yes.
Yeah. And the important thing is to make sure that you have, it's always difficult to deal with the light here, to have grit all over, even inside of the material. Yeah. So we're now using the red disc, the red non-woven disc in 150 millimeters. Clean the surface for the last time. And this is the last step if you want to create a matte surface with the glossy level of 10 to 15%. Yeah.
And so what Max just, while he's sanding, to give you some information, that non-woven, Max mentioned the grain goes all the way down through the material. That's important because there are some non-wovens that basically all that grain lays on top. And we as well in the States have the same type of product they have there with the grain all the way through.
This really looks, sorry, clean it again, like a really good surface. Yeah, you don't have the scratches, you have a matte surface. If the customer likes that, you're ready, you're done yet. It's done. If you want to have semi-gloss, we need to do 1 or 2 more steps, and we're now starting to use a foam disc that we call Ekasky. This is grit size 1000. Yeah, soft backing, foam backing in the middle, you can see it here. And it's adaptable to curves and to profiles. To make that more clear, I will use it at the end of the presentation at the sink, okay? So to have a semi-close, we are now first of all use the Grit 1000, and second step is Grit 2000. I will do that in one working step now.
And so the Ekasky product that Max is using is available here in the States. It's in 6-inch disc. And one thing to keep in mind about it is a silicon carbide grain. That's why you're getting such a good finish. And it also can be used wet or dry. You can use it with compounds, which I think Max is going to do in a few minutes. So just keep that in mind as well.
So, really fast working. And again, we start it here. We not sand or polish anything. Grit 180, Grit 240, matte in the surface with non-woven. And here you have semi-gloss.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah.
So Max, you don't use any water or anything on a semi-gloss?
You can use, even with the film disc or with the foam disc, you have the option to use water if you want to reduce the dust, and if you want to have a little bit more shiny surface at the end. So not matter if you're working on a lacquer or if you're working on a solid surface, if you use abrasive with water, you will always create a little bit more finer surface. Yeah, it's a rule, a universal rule. Yeah? Good, so far so good. I hope I could show you how easy it is to create on a solid surface, a matte surface, and a semi-gloss surface. Yeah. What we need to do now and in the end is to create a high gloss surface. Yeah. And to make that clear, I switch now from that sample to a complete new plate. Yeah. I will now start again from Grit 180 with the film disc. I will continue with Grit 240. I will continue with foam disc Grit 1000, and I will continue with foam disc Grit 2000. Yeah, I will do that now in a whole working period without breaks to keep it as short as possible. And in the end, we will polish the solid surface. And even there, it's a really nice material to work with because you cannot do so many things wrong as long as you remember 1, 2, or 3 tricks, yeah, or things that you should never do wrong, okay? So first of all, we start with the Grit 180, and I will sand the whole sample piece of solid surface. So grid 180 is done. Now I clean the surface, continue with grid 240. So now I'm done with grid 240, and for everybody who wonders, now we are not using the non-woven now because we don't want to create a matte surface. So we jump over that step, and we're now going directly into the 2 foam disc, okay? So far, so good. Now we are ready with sanding. And as I said, for the high gloss surface, the last step needs to be polishing. Okay, so we are going from the Orbital Sender to a rotational polishing machine. I also used here the 150 millimeter pad. You have 2 options. You can do it with the felt pad. Let's make it clear to focus a little bit. You can do it with the felt pad. And you can do it with the foam pad. Where are the benefits? The benefits of the foam pad, and many times it's a bit more cheap, but you need more time because you cannot bring that much heat into the surface like you will do with the felt pad. Yeah? So I prefer, and I will use the felt pad. But of course you can, it's not impossible to also do that with the foam one.
And that's a direct drive machine there. It only rotates one direction, correct? It just goes around.
Right, you're right. We are now using a polishing compound that we use in Germany. We have 3 ones. And it's like on the traffic light, we have a red one, a yellow one, and a green one. So I will use the yellow one. It's the golden middle, yeah? Because for solid surface, you only need to do 1 step. As you all know, it's important not even to put that polishing compound on the surface. If you have a new felt pad, don't forget, first of all, put a lot of the polishing compound on the felt pad and try to do a little massage that everywhere in the felt pad is the polishing compound, because what we don't want to have is a dry part of the felt pad working on the surface. Why? Because then you create much heat, too much heat for the surface, and you can create, it looks a little bit like an orange than the surface, because you have thermoplastic problems. I hope it's understandable.
Yes, they call it orange peel in the United States. Called orange peel.
Good. Then we put it on the machine. Make visually clear that you don't have dry areas on the pad. And then we start with a slow level of rotation. And if we have polishing compound everywhere on the surface, we raising the movement of the plate to create a little bit more temperature. Yeah. We start and we try to be around about 800 rounds per minute. Yeah. And then we start to raise up to 1,000, 1,200 RPM. Okay. Before I start working now, it's always the question of customers in Germany, how should be the movement, yeah, of the plate? Should I do it like this? Or diagonal or whatever. To be honest, and to not make it too complicated, I like to do it crosswise, yeah? One times that way, and then you do the second step in that way, and you continue to work like this. As long, as I always said, as long as you're not staying on one position with the polishing pad, you're fine, okay? So now I take a new cloth. Yeah, of course, it would be a bad idea to clean that surface after polishing with the same cloth that I used for cleaning up the surface after sanding. One more step. And now I hope you can see what we created. Can we make it clear?
That's perfect right there. You can really see the sheen. I can see the Ekamont sign in the background.
Yeah, that's good. As long as you do not see my sweating face, I do a good job. So, to get it all together at the end.
Now, Max, we didn't have a lot of questions because you did such a good job of showing this, but I do have one, if you don't mind answering one. So the rule of thumb is we don't typically skip a grit. What enables you to go from a 240 to straight to 1,000 and be able to get that kind of finish?
Because it's two different, completely different kind of discs. You first of all have the film disc. Yeah. And second step is the foam disc. And if you want to make sure that you save time, you can use a little bit more speed on the foam disc. Yeah.
So it's just basically blending those scratches, and I know the compound will obviously fill them.
Exactly. And as you know, if you have, it's another big topic. It would, be too much to discuss for that webinar, but maybe you can do it internal. Here we have a P240, and on the foam disc, there is only written 1,000, so no P on the back.
Yes.
So you cannot, combine it with, it's not a P1000, it's just named 1000.
Right.
So it's not
like
crit size 1000.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, what Max is talking about, there's grading systems. P is European. It's more precise. The 1,000 grit could be a little finer or
exactly. In the end, as I said, Curtis, the solid surface is a really, really nice material. Yeah, because you can make different, or you can make mistakes, but you can not make so many mistakes as long as you use the right materials, as long as you use a good machine, and as long as you're not jumping crit sizes in the film backing. This would be a huge mistake. Yeah, and in the end, if the customer needs to have a high gloss surface, you can reveal a lot with the polishing compound. Just do 1, 2, 3 times polishing. Yeah, you will have in the end a really, really good surface. But yeah, just remembering my time with working in the boatyard business and in the plane business, many customers are fine with the matte or semi-gloss surface. So you will not find the high gloss surface with gloss level like 85% plus in real life, in real business. So many customers are fine as long as the whole surface is matte. Yeah. So last step, to not steal you so much time, but I promised, just to make clear what the benefit of the foam disc is. We just take a look at that sink. Yeah. First of all, I will try to sand that sink with a film disc. Just Orbital Sender and film disc. Okay, I will do it now, and then I will show it in the close-up. So film disc. It's getting more and more dark in Germany, as you see. So,
and we appreciate you helping us in your late hour here.
So here you can see it now, that way. So with the film disc, we only have a sanding area round about 2 to 3 centimeters, whatever inch it is. Yeah. 3 fingers. Let's do it in fingers width. Okay. So what I will use now is the same disc, film disc, with interface pad, with a foam pad of 12 millimeters. Same disc with foam layer in the middle. Again, only film disc, 3 fingers. It's magic. And now we have the whole width of one hand. Yeah, why it is like this? Because the foam disc is taking more sending area because it's soft. It can cover more of the round surface of a sink. And it's the same in the inside. It's easier to work with the soft interface pad or with the Ekasky or with the Ekasilk. It makes no difference. So the big point for working on round surfaces is just do not simply use paper backing, film backing, or whatever. Just try to use an interface pad or try to use foam disc like Ekasky or Ekasilk. Yeah?
Yep, perfect.
Good. I messed up all my working area. Yeah, so.
Well, Max, Thomas, we really appreciate you participating in this. We hope to do more of this in the future. You know, you guys are the ones that are coding this stuff onto the backing and definitely are the professionals. We really appreciate your time, and especially at this late hour. I know it's very late there. And I don't see any more questions. What I would like to say to our audience is that we will be coming up with some more webinars. We hope to include our friends at Ecomon in some more of that. Again, we really appreciate it. Max, I think it was very beneficial and everybody learned a lot. Thank you so much.
So if there are any questions to you, Curtis, just let me know via mail. You can send it every time.
Yeah, we are folks in close collaboration all the time. If you have questions I can't answer, we'll get the answer from Max right away and get it right back to you. And so my email is curtis6@unita.com, and anything you need, just let me know. Thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great day.
Perfect. Stay healthy and have a good afternoon.
All right.